Hi, I'm Joni Cornell. A special hello to my Facebook friends and YouTube subscribers. Today I'm going to be talking to you about the Felters brand, the Gentle Roller. Now those of you who know me will also know that I've always been opposed to automating felt making. However, several years ago I developed sciatica and I was unable to work for several months. I had to decide then whether I was going to give up felt making or come up with an entirely different solution. The biggest challenge for me was the labour-intensive aspect of my fabric making. I still enjoyed being in the colour fields of fibres and fabrics and designing new garments, but when it came to repetitive rolling, I really struggled. Philip, my partner, suggested that he could come up with a way for me to continue making my felt without the tedium of rolling. I'd seen rolling machines before and I didn't like them. If he was going to succeed, he'd have to navigate a few design challenges. Firstly, whatever he came up with had to replicate hand rolling. It had to look good in my studio and not look like something I'd want to hide in a garage. It had to be easy for me to use, as I'm not particularly tech savvy. And it had to be safe. I didn't want screw-down clamps that made it time-consuming to set up and presented an entrapment hazard, particularly for my hair. And I didn't want cover guards, which stopped me from seeing what was happening. Basically, I didn't want anything overly industrial. Now, Philip is excellent when it comes to business, and it would seem when it comes to design and product development as well. After a few failed attempts, he came up with a working prototype that was surprising in its look, but even more surprising was that it worked really well. We tested it when I had to produce a large volume of around 25 scarves the season before last. Had I been producing them by hand, I would only have managed around half a dozen. The type of product we made was from my sari silk range. Double-sided sari silk with merino sandwiched in between. I also work with a blend of merino alpaca silk as base with silk sari fabric floating on top, as well as superfine merino with silk sari floating. Look how beautifully these have been felted. These took thousands of rolls, which I would have been unable to do manually. The prototype roller saved me hours of back-breaking work. Philip patented several unique aspects of his design, and then with his prototype and some sketches, he took off to China to see whether he could find a manufacturing partner. A few months later, a new prototype was ready for testing, with sample components made overseas. To test whether the new prototype was working, I quickly made two scarves. The first, a very lightweight Nuno for my Impressions range. I also made a double-sided sari scarf. As you can see, the prototype was working just fine. Now, I wanted to see whether the roller could handle something more complex, so I made a garment. And the jumper is on Gemma at the moment. It's double-sided, reversible, seamless, and the roller was able to handle the multiple layers just beautifully. I became convinced that using the Gentle Roller I could make felt as good as, if not better, than hand-rolled felt. After a few subtle improvements, Philip came back from his most recent visit to China with this, the production version. Philip's design has met all my criteria, is attractive, replicates hand rolling, and is safe and gentle to use. Thus, we've labelled it the Gentle Roller. I'm so happy with it that I've convinced Philip to share it with the world of felt makers. I believe every felt maker deserves to treat herself to a Gentle Roller, and I would encourage you to check out the information on the Kickstarter Launch Project website as well as the Gentle Roller website. There is only a limited amount of time to take advantage of the rewards being offered, so please don't delay. The Gentle Roller is the beginning of a brand new adventure in felt making, and I do hope that you can join us. Before I go, I want to tell you about the Carpet Challenge video. We knew that the second prototype could handle the finest of Nuno scarves, as well as a more complex garment like the jumper that Gemma is wearing. But to test the flexibility of the prototype, I asked Philip to help me make a carpet-like fabric, something very thick and heavy, which was going to be a first for me as well as the Gentle Roller. You can check out the results in the Carpet Challenge video. Catch you later.